Recognizing the member for West Vancouver Capilano.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the member for Victoria Beacon Hill for her statement. Mr. Speaker, language matters. My pronouns are she, her. It can empower people and make them feel they belong, or marginalize people and make them feel invisible. Historically, the world has described the male gender as default, with our collective identity described as masculine, reinforced by the language we use. Mankind, man-made, firemen, policemen, hey guys. We've also heard language that manifests stereotypes with people, saying, don't cry like a girl, and the double standard description with both men and women behave assertively. Men are described as decisive, and women are described as being bossy. And what about calling someone Karen? And that's not just because it's the mispronunciation of my own name, but it is negative and has a misogynistic meaning and is offensive to women. Language plays a crucial role in shaping culture and attitudes. In many ways, it reflects and creates greater gender inequalities and discrimination, and it contributes to toxic male privilege that still exists around the world, whether it's at home, in an office, or in society. Therefore, using gender-inclusive language is a powerful way to promote gender equality and eradicate gender bias. The first step to using inclusive language is for us all to consider and understand and respect the different gender identities that make up our rich and diverse society. I had the honor to attend the Proud to Be event this past weekend at Family Services of North Shore. It was an opportunity to hear a panel talk about how to support the emotional well-being of gender-diverse and gender-questioning children and youth. Respecting and honoring pronouns a young person identifies with is such an important piece of supporting them and supporting their positive mental health. While there is still a long way to go towards gender equality, we must also acknowledge the concept of gender is changing. Last week, Canada became the first country to collect and publish census data on gender diversity from a national census. Prior to the 2021 census, individuals indicated they were not able to see themselves in the two responses that were available to them in the current census. But changes have since been made. Based on that report, 1 in 300 Canadians aged 15 or older are transgender or non-binary. In BC, nearly 20,000 people aged 18 and older identify as trans or non-binary, one of the highest proportions of any province or territory in Canada. Honourable Speaker, our society is made up from people from a spectrum of gender identities. As society evolves, the language of gender identity is also evolving as we understand, accept, and we embrace gender classifications that fall outside of the traditional male-female binary. So what does it mean to use gender-inclusive language? It means speaking and writing in a way that does not discriminate against particular gender and that does not exhibit gender stereotypes. In fact, Canada amended the Canadian Human Rights Act and the Canadian Criminal Code to protect individuals from discrimination and hate-based crimes based on their gender identification. And that should be reflected in our language every day as well. There are techniques we can make to use communication more inclusive. Respect a person's identity by addressing them by the name and pronouns that they choose and use. If you're unsure what name or pronoun someone uses, then ask. And lastly, be open to changes in gender pronouns and stay educated. Using gender-inclusive language is about creating a world where people, regardless of their gender identity, or gender expression, feel validated and welcome. And language is one of the important tools to empower people around us. Let's spread the word of the positive impact of using gender-inclusive and affirmative language. Always be mindful, stay informed, and build a more equal world together, Mr. Speaker.